You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily.
Startling home video taken by someone in Washington, Illinois. Tonight, the prayers are continuing. Families in parts of Illinois are climbing through the rubble and beginning to piece their lives back together after yesterday's deadly storm that swept across the Midwest. Good evening, I'm Alan Kozeluh. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Neal. 6 people have been confirmed dead. And Brittany Merleau is here with us now with an update on these storms.
Governor Quinn has declared a disaster area in 7 counties all across Illinois. This is one of the strongest tornadoes in the Midwest that ripped through yesterday afternoon. Dozens of homes were destroyed there, and in total there have been around 80 tornado reports received from yesterday. The massive storms also hit Michigan, Missouri, and Indiana. NIU meteorologist Gilbert Sabensky says tornadoes in November aren't that unusual.
So, one thing you need to remember, and that everyone needs to remember, is that tornadoes can occur any time of the day and any time of the year. Just because it's mid-November, December, January, if you get a strong enough storm system, you'll get it to pull enough warm, humid air up into the area where, it doesn't have to be 90 degrees to have a tornado. You can have them at 60 degrees, especially this time of year.
Brittany's moved over to the weather computer. We're going to have more on the damage this storm system caused here in our area in just a moment.
Let's first catch up on a big moment in NIU history, a brand new president. Students and faculty have been seeing President Doug Baker across campus and at community events this past semester.
But NIU has officially welcomed the new president to the university this past week. Jacob Whitelaw was at the inauguration and has more on President Baker's vision for the future.
Well, you can really feel the energy here at the Chick Evans Fieldhouse, where people are celebrating the inauguration of NIU's 12th president, Dr. Douglas Baker.
There was live music, dancing, and plenty of people to officially welcome NIU's new president, who spoke earlier in the evening.
Thank you. I hope to prove you right. Brilliant decision, by the way.
President Baker's speech touched on many topics, but his focus was on student career success through programs like the Bold Futures workshops. The workshops were a way to bring members of the DeKalb, Sycamore, and NIU communities together to brainstorm on how to move the university forward. President Baker says he has more in store for the future of those workshops.
And then we're going to have a celebration with all the participants and have them come back and tell us the things they've already done. Best practices. We took the idea we developed, we're off, we're doing it, we're changing.
The president's vision for student career success also includes encouraging participation between NIU students and alumni. And it sounds like students have high hopes for President Baker's plan for NIU.
I think President Baker is genuinely interested in taking advice from the community and from students and from teachers.
Governor Quinn was also there to show his support for President Baker and the university.
Well, everybody who's attending here, we're blessed to have them, and one of my goals is to get more scholarships, MAP scholarships, Monetary Assistance Program scholarships, so we get more students, more financial aid.
President Baker says he has a lot more planned for the university, including expanding mentorships and making sure every student who wants one gets an internship. At the Chick Evans Fieldhouse, for NTC News, I'm Jacob Whitelaw.
President Baker made some of the first major changes to NIU last month when he revamped the structure of some of the school's administrative divisions.
He split up the Division of Finance and Facilities into the Division of Administration and the Division of Finance, and is in the process of finding a new Chief Information Officer. Many look forward to seeing how else the president plans on improving the university.
Same-sex couples can finally plan their futures together after the gay marriage bill was passed here in Illinois this month.
NTC's Sabrina Bennett has more on the new bill and what it means for one local couple.
It's not always bad. I'm sure a lot of wives out there would wish their husbands would get more into the kitchen and cook dinner. I'm the wife and the husband.
Meet Craig Diviak and Brian Baker. They are a soon-to-be married couple cooking dinner and talking about life. lives that will soon change after the passing of the same-sex marriage bill in Illinois.
Take the record. On this question, there are 61 voting yes, 54 voting no, 2 voting present, and this bill, having received a constitutional majority, is hereby declared passed.
For some, this means more than just a piece of paper.
We even planned, we booked the wedding a couple months after we got engaged, and we were going to have our ceremony, and we were going to live our lives exactly how we are now, but now we get to be legally protected, we get to be legally recognized.
The LGBT community on campus welcomes the bill with open arms.
It's something that adds a level of legitimacy that civil unions didn't do. Simply the fact of marriage is something that people recognize. Civil unions were confusing and not quite on the same par.
On June 1st, 2014, this is the building where same-sex couples will be able to come and get their marriage license right here in DeKalb County. In the meantime, they can apply for a civil union, which in the state of Illinois includes benefits like tax relief and emergency medical decision-making power.
These rings represent one of the most recognized symbols of marriage in our society, and soon they will symbolize equality for same-sex marriages.
I don't know, what am I supposed to do?
Something cute. That's a kiss.
It's cute.
Sabrina Bennett, in DeKalb, NTC News.
Governor Pat Quinn is scheduled to sign the bill this week,
but it won't become effective until June 1st.
The DeKalb Fire Department is investigating a kitchen fire yesterday that injured one person. That person was taken to the hospital with first-degree burns to the face. The DeKalb Fire Department responded to the fire on Regent Drive off Hillcrest. Firefighters are saying it was an accident. The fire started when the stove was left unattended. The fire department is saying that it caused $9,000 worth of damage.
DeKalb police are looking for people who broke into and vandalized the Hampton Inn construction site on Annie Glidden Road. Police say one or more people entered the hotel between Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. There is several $1,000s worth of damage. Crime Stoppers will pay a cash reward up to $1,000, and reports can be made anonymously.
The old Fiesta Cancun restaurant is under new management that's actually quite popular here in DeKalb. Jeff Doby, the owner of Fatty's Pub and Grill, purchased the building and is ready to make some changes. Fatty's is actually a neighbor to the property off Lincoln Highway. The 76,000 square foot property was purchased in June to make additional parking space for Fatty's customers. And the new property would also double the amount of parking available for customers, which is currently about 85 parking spaces. The lot includes the empty 4,900 square foot building and could become a banquet hall to host university events such as football and graduation parties.
For dog owners here in DeKalb, there will be a new place to bring Fido and Spike. The DeKalb Park District has chosen the new location for its new dog park at Katz Park near DeKalb High School. The Park District will be converting one of its softball fields for the project. Local dog owners have been trying to get a park for many years, but this spot is only temporary.
There's more people probably in DeKalb that have pets than children, and they also need places to recreate, and they pay taxes here, and this is a very prudent and good use of the taxpayers' money.
The park says once the new fencing and signs are put up, the park will be open for use, and if it proves to be a success, a permanent spot will be considered.
DeKalb's hospital has a new employee on board, but listen to this, it won't cost them a dime in paychecks.
The new employees will even lower the risk of patients catching possible infections left in hospital room. Sound too good to be true? Here's Cody Berman with more on this unusual employee.
Kishwaukee Community Hospital in DeKalb has a new friend on its staff. Meet Trudy.
Trudy system is active.
Trudy is one of 2 germ-killing robots that the hospital installed at the beginning of September. Vincent Landeros, Director of Environmental Studies at Kishwaukee Health System, brought in the robots to better ensure the safety of future patients.
So it can add some time to the room turnaround, but ultimately we're delivering a safer environment for the next patient, so it's well worth it.
According to Landeros, Kishwaukee is the first hospital in the area to get robots and was a much-needed acquisition.
hospital-acquired infections, known to us as HAIs. Across the country, there are over 90,000 deaths per year caused by hospital-acquired infections.
The robot is able to measure the amount of light that is reflected off the surface of the room and then can tell the amount of time needed to disinfect, which has only made it easier for nurses.
We're quite lucky. We're, still considered on the small side for a hospital, 100 beds, and to have 2 of these machines is really great.
So far, Trudy has become a well-liked friend to hospital staff and will be here to stay. At Kishwaukee Community Hospital in DeKalb, I'm Cody Berman, NTC News Tonight.
Central DuPage Hospital in Winfield and Rush Copley Hospital in Aurora are in the process of getting robots.
Before we go any further, let's take a look at our weather for today and tomorrow.
Brittany, it's been very wild and devastating weather yesterday across the Midwest. How was it here in DeKalb?
Out here in DeKalb, we had very strong winds, but let's take a look at this footage from Rochelle. Massive semi-trucks were turned over by the strong gusts of winds that reached up to 60 miles per hour in the area. Also, some power lines are still down in the area, including one on 4th Street. And even here on campus, it looks like someone's giant trampoline was blown onto the lawn of Barcema Hall. The metal is bent, as you can see, and it looks completely dismembered. The rain may be gone for now, but let's see how our temperatures should look for tomorrow. We are going to see sunny, beautiful skies, fortunately. We're going to see temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. It's going to be a pretty nice day out there. We might see some gusts continue as it's been very windy out there lately. But we are going to take a closer look at our weather window coming up after the break.
Coming up after weather and inside the 815 report on one Sycamore High School graduate's journey to create his own online clothing line. We'll get a chance to chat with him and about the struggles that led him to it. Stay with us. You're watching NTC News Tonight.
But it would be safe to keep your distance until there's no secret that will make you smile. Reliable sources say that chicken soup has found their way out of this.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back. Yesterday was such a devastating day. It's a day that we normally don't see up this far north in Illinois, but let's talk about the setup that actually happened. We had this cold air pushing down into the area, which actually, we had a cold front that came through. Now what caused this to actually form all these tornadoes and such bad storms is we had this warm, humid air from the south actually rise up out in front of that front, and it gave the storms enough fuel to start these tornadoes. Now when that the cold front hit that warm air, that's exactly what we saw, and we were in the wrong place at the wrong time yesterday, unfortunately. But that is what happened yesterday. Now let's look at this. This is actually a picture of the tornado that struck Washington. It's from Roanoke, Illinois, from Adam Lucille. He was out there storm chasing, and he got this picture of it before it got to Washington. This here is the Coal City tornado that we had multiple touchdowns all throughout Illinois. Like I said, this is the Coal City one from Patrick Sullivan and Mike Schwartz, as they got this out there as well. This is some damage that was done to Coal City, a few houses, siding just torn off and everything. Now we're going to Manhattan. There was also a reported tornado there as well, as you can see. This is pretty large as well. We don't know the damage on any of these yet. They're out surveying that today. This is a photo from Brittany Prince out in Manhattan, and here's some more pictures of damage that happened out there as well. Oak Lawn, we did have a report as well. Sam Augustine, he's got this billboard that just got knocked over. These winds were just crazy. This may not have been a tornado that happened here, but the winds were hurricane force winds that were knocking things over. Now let's take a look at the actual tornado seasons. As you can see, March, April, May peaks for that, but we also have a little peak in November as well that most people don't know about. It is a secondary peak, and we were in that. But let's look at today. We did see the sun come out, much better weather. We saw a high of 43 degrees, and tonight we're going to see a low of 26, so it is going to drop down. That cold front did push through. Tonight we're going to see mostly clear skies with a low of 26. Winds are going to start to calm, fortunately. Tomorrow, sunny, high of 46. It's going to be beautiful out. And then into tomorrow night, it's going to be mostly clear with 33 degrees. Winds are going to pick up again. And onto my 5-day forecast, the sun will be out Tuesday, 46. Temperatures will keep rising. As we get into Wednesday, it'll be rainy with wind. Thursday, same thing as well. But look at this. Friday, we have a chance for snow again in our forecast as a cold front will push through. We're going to have an icy rain mix, so definitely be careful driving Friday. I would not suggest to leave and drive on Friday night if you're going to go out of town. Saturday, the sun will come back out, but it's going to be a high of 32. And look at this, the lowest temperature we've seen so far, a low of 15 degrees for Saturday night. Now that's it for weather. Let's send it back to the desk.
Wow, weather here in Illinois is very unpredictable. Thanks, Brittany.
If you're on Twitter, chances are you've probably heard of City Native, a trendy and urban online clothing line with over 35,000 Twitter followers.
And it's the brainchild of Alex Bauer, a recent Sycamore High School graduate. Inside the 815 reporter Lindsey Diehl has more on the challenges Alex faced in his life and how his struggles led to the creation of City Native.
Checking his email and scrolling through Twitter. This 21-year-old isn't your average college student. Alex Bauer is the founder and co-owner of City Native, an online clothing line that pays tribute to the Windy City.
Personally, I'm a huge fan of the architecture. I love the city life. I love the people there. It's very fast-paced, and I just wanted to show different aspects that aren't really shown as often. New Jersey.
With sales sprawling all over the world, a new business partner, and even a display in the Village Commons bookstore, Alex says the line has really taken off. But Alex's journey came with its own set of challenges. During his time at Sycamore High School, he says he wasn't the most perfect student, and he didn't find interest in mainstream classes.
I didn't really think I would ever go into anything where I would need those types of skills.
He was able to find refuge in playing basketball for the Sycamore High School team after school.
I played, pretty much since I was like 5 years old, and I never stopped.
But it all came to a sudden halt after tearing his meniscus twice. He found it difficult to get back on the court after being off for so long. And this gave him a lot of downtime on the computer.
I downloaded a few programs, Photoshop, I messed around with images, I liked photo editing, like photo manipulation, and then I realized, graphic design was something that I should probably look into.
Alex now calls it a blessing in disguise. After his injury, he was able to dive headfirst into different graphic design classes and eventually follow his dream, to pursue a project that can still keep him in touch with the sports world, City Native. Fast forward to this fall, some of the designs now feature nods to Chicago sports teams. The line just celebrated its 1-year birthday, and for Alex, he doesn't plan on stopping anytime soon.
Late nights, definitely, yep.
And a lot of coffee.
A lot of coffee, yep.
Lindsey Diehl, inside the 815 for NTC News Tonight.
Wow, that's an inspiring story, and I think a lot of students can identify with not fitting into that traditional student mold.
We have Alex Bauer from City Native here with us now. And Alex, you have over 35,000 Twitter followers. How have you reached that kind of success in such a short amount of time?
I think one of the reasons we've been able to get so much success is with the knowledge of knowing what we can do and how we can take advantage of social media and really make the most out of it.
Can you explain your decision to stick with being more of an online-only company?
Right now with online only, it's a lot more accessible to everyone. Instead of having to drive to a certain location, they can go online, they can view all of our products, and also it cuts down on overhead costs on our end.
Now, on social media, not only do you have the opportunity to interact with traditional customers, but also some pretty big names. Who else has been wearing your clothes?
Right now we're working with mainly a group called Milk and Cookies. They're from U of I. They're actually a DJ group, and they're really expanding in the EDM world. They performed at Spring Awakening this year, Summerfest, and a bunch of other large music festivals.
So it's got to be really satisfying to see your line reaching such popularity. What's the reaction been like from people you know from high school?
They really like it. They get a kick out of it. You know, a lot of them really didn't expect, I guess, me to be doing such big things. I struggled throughout high school, so I know they've all been very supportive of it.
Just one last question. What is your message to students who might also be struggling in school?
Stick with it. You know, it seems like it's not worth it at times, and I think that if I could go back, I wish I would have tried a little bit harder throughout high school, because once you do good in high school, it gives you more opportunities to find better colleges and better universities to go to expand your knowledge in the field you would like to go into.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for joining us here today. City Native will be launching brand new hoodie designs this winter.
And Black Friday is just around the corner. Alex, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Nuclear negotiations continue this week in Geneva.
And a controversial policy in China is undergoing a big change. Here's what's happening in today's World Watch.
Talks resume this week in Geneva on a potential deal with Iran over its nuclear program. France's president is in Israel discussing the issue with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Netanyahu stressed his concern over an agreement that would reduce sanctions on Iran.
China is planning to ease its one-child policy. Couples will be allowed to have 2 children if one of the parents was an only child. China will abolish its re-education through the labor system as part of the country's human rights reforms. Under the system, tens of thousands of people are imprisoned in China without trial.
And a Penn State student has died after a fall off a 9th floor balcony. Police say the 20-year-old man fell from an apartment complex Saturday morning. Investigators say it's too early to tell what led to the fall, but they do believe drugs and alcohol may have played a part.
Aircraft builder Boeing is coming off a big payday at the Dubai Air Show. Boeing netted $100 billion in sales at the event this weekend from the Middle East's Gulf Arab carriers. The 342 orders represented more than twice the value of those seen by European rival Airbus. The orders for the 777X come even as Boeing's machinists in the Seattle area rejected a long-term contract. And that's what's happening in today's World Watch.
Hey everybody, I'm back for another segment of NTC Sports. I'm Thomas Hiley, and to get started, let's start with the Huskies football team. NIU faced the 9-1 Ball State Cardinals last Wednesday, which was a great game. It was close for the entire first half until the Huskies dominated the second half, holding the Cardinals only 3 points to keep the Huskies undefeated and their BCS hopes alive. Let's get to some NFL games now, shall we? The Baltimore Ravens came to visit the Chicago Bears yesterday, with the Bears starting a healthy Josh McCown instead of an injured Jay Cutler, with the game coming down to the wire. There were tornado warnings at the beginning of the game, which caused the game to be suspended for around 2 hours. But after the warnings take you to the fourth quarter in the second 11, the Bears, as it takes to the end zone for the lead. Joe Flacco is trying to make a fourth quarter comeback, dumping the ball off to Dallas Clark for the first down. 7 seconds left. Justin Tucker attempts the field goal to tie the game and makes it, taking the game into overtime. This is the Bears' second possession of OT, and all they need is a score to win the game, as McCown launches the ball to Martellus Bennett for 43 yards all the way into field goal range. Wybergo is set to kick the ball. It looks like a miss, wide right, but he makes it and gives the Bears the win. The Chicago Bulls faced the undefeated Pacers this past weekend, which was a serious game, due to the fact the Pacers forward Paul George said the Pacers era and the Bulls era was over. Derrick Rose and the Bulls start differently. Derrick Rose is back in the lineup following an injured hamstring against the Cavaliers last Monday. Bulls are already up 19 points as Derrick Rose pulls up for the three-pointer and sinks it. Here's another one right in front of Paul George to be up by 25 points at halftime. Pacers look worried with still another half to play. Late in the third quarter, Joe King passes the ball to Luau Deng, who goes up for the reverse layup. As we look at it again, he goes up under the possible block from Roy Hibbert for the go-ahead 2 points. 78-49 in the third, Deng dishes the ball to Butler for the corner three and makes the three with the foul, as the Bulls upset the undefeated Pacers 110-94. Remember last year in the NCAA tournament when the Louisville guard had the horrible injury? Well, he's back playing his first game since then against Cornell this past weekend. Cameron Ware gets subbed into the game for the first time since suffering a fractured leg and gets a standing ovation from the crowd. As Cornell misses the shot, Louisville passes back to the end, gives it to Ware, who drives it in for the attempt to dunk, but he makes the layup for two. Ware seems fine following that injury as he takes it up for another easy 2 points. Now the play of the day comes from the Jets versus the Bills this past weekend. Third quarter, Bills are up 20 points as Geno Smith hikes the ball and gets picked off by the Bills defender as he takes it back 35 yards for the Bills touchdown. Let's look at it one more time. The defender waits for the ball to be thrown and catches it over his shoulder as he takes it to the house for another Bills score. With that being said, let's take it back to the...
Coming up, a new beer brewery could be on its way to DeKalb. We'll explain.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans. These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids. Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. So is the solution.
Give a gift of meals to a family in need. Visit feedingamerica.org/giveameal today.
After more than a year of applying for permits and working with federal and local governments, a local home brewery could be opening its doors next year.
Cassie Allman tells us how one man's hobby can turn into the business opportunity of a lifetime.
Andrew Nordman spends his days as a software programmer working on education software. His home office allows him to be hands-on in raising his 2 kids. It also allows him to concentrate on his other interest, brewing beer. What started out as a small hobby has taken over his basement and expanded into a business venture with a friend known as Cadman Brewing Company.
And when he officially approached me with the idea of starting a business, at that point I was all on board because the passion that he brought to it, the product itself was great, and knowing him, he definitely had the wherewithal, the knowledge, the skill, and the talent to pull it off.
Andrew and Brian have spent the last year applying for permits and licenses to open up shop in Sycamore. They have appeared before Sycamore City Council and other committees as they vote on each permit and license. The latest vote took place last Monday.
The council voted 11-0 to allow his special use permit. This is one step further for local microbreweries to really get their name out there.
Tastings of the beers are popular with Cadman's friends and supporters as the business gets closer to opening its doors.
And I want to be able to take my beer and give it to other people, have them taste it and say, yeah, that's a damn good beer.
In the coming months, Andrew and Brian will be spending less time in the basement and more time at their new brew pub. For NTC News, I'm Cassie Allman in Sycamore.
Well, it's just great to see young people taking charge to make their dreams come true.
Yeah, innovation seems to be on the rise in Sycamore these days.
Well, we want to thank you all for joining with us tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll be back at the same time on Wednesday.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye, everyone.